You know that moment after you hit send and your brain instantly starts replaying what you just wrote? It's like you can see the message sitting in their inbox just waiting to be opened. And suddenly you're wondering, did that sound cold, too long, too short? Should you have added an emoji? You check your phone again, not because you expect a reply, but because an unread silence feels heavier than it should. There's a quiet tension behind that habit. Most people just call it overthinking, or worse, insecurity. But that word doesn't explain it. Because beneath that need to reread, to correct, to soften your tone, there's something deeply human trying to keep you safe. You're not being dramatic, you're being careful in a world that hasn't always rewarded honesty. What we call overthinking messages is rarely about the message itself. It's about connection and what it costs. There's more going on here than people realize. Psychologically, this pattern is tied to a part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex, which monitors errors and social threats. For some people, it's more active, constantly scanning for signs of rejection or misunderstanding. Studies show that heightened activity here makes someone more sensitive to social feedback, tone shifts, phrasing, even imagined pauses. It's not that you choose to overanalyze, your brain is wired to notice fine-grained emotional detail. You pick up microsignals others miss, which helps you read the room, anticipate reactions, and avoid conflict. But it also means you might question yourself when nothing is wrong at all. That sensitivity often has roots that go farther back than texting habits. For many, it starts early, in families where emotional tone mattered more than words, where you had to read between the lines to know if things were okay. Maybe calm voices didn't mean safety, or silence meant tension building. So you learned to monitor, to predict, to adjust, to stay one step ahead of disappointment. Your nervous system adapted to that environment. It learns that connection can disappear quietly and that safety depends on getting it right. So now, even years later, a delivered but not read message registers not as neutral but as uncertainty. Your mind wants to close the loop to find the signal that says, you're still good here. And this isn't wrong, it's simply one version of being human. Different brains regulate belonging in different ways. Some people send a text and forget. Others carry the invisible thread of that interaction until it's tied off with a reply. Neither is stronger or weaker, just different calibrations of the same social need. There's a paradox here, though. The very ability that makes you a sensitive communicator, the tendency to sense nuance, to care about tone, to empathize, is also what drains you. Overthinkers often make others feel deeply understood, yet silently, they rarely feel understood themselves. Your attention moves outward, protecting harmony, and in doing so, you neglect the small voice inside that says, it's enough, you've said enough. It's a pattern of emotional generosity that sometimes forgets its own boundaries. But understanding the pattern softens it. You start to see the overthinking not as noise to suppress, but as information, an echo of experiences that taught you vigilance was safety. When your mind starts looping on a text, it's trying to solve a problem that no longer exists. Will I still be accepted? Did I do something wrong? The truth is, the adult relationships you're building now might not require that same vigilance. You can let a little silence exist between words. None of this means you should stop caring about how you come across. The world needs people attuned to subtlety, the ones who pause before sending, who think about impact rather than just expression. It's what makes you thoughtful, gentle, communicative. But it's okay to recognize when that strength becomes weight, when connection starts to feel like performance. You don't need to earn understanding through perfect phrasing. You don't need to protect every conversation from misunderstanding. Because the truth beneath all this analysis is simple. Your carefulness came from love, from wanting relationships to feel safe. It's not broken, it's protective, and protection can be loosened once trust becomes stronger. So the next time you feel that mental replay after sending a message, notice it with compassion. That's the part of you that once kept everything running smoothly, that made you the peacekeeper, the one who remembered what others forgot. It's okay to thank it for its service, and then let it rest. There's more to say about this, about why people who overthink messages are often the ones who create the deepest emotional safety for others. If this resonated with you, there's more.